So competitive just came out for Overwatch, and a lot of people are really pissed off, and rightfully so, because the system that's currently in place is complete garbage. And after the launch of the game was so smooth, I thought Blizzard would do better, but at least on PC, I can't speak for console, but for PC, the competitive is an absolute disaster. And the number one reason that it is DCs, but there's a key factor that is more important than just DCs, which is this. Oftentimes, whenever you disconnect, whether it be internet or game crashing, if you leave the game, however it happens, you just can't come back into the game oftentimes. You just get locked out completely. It won't say rejoin match. You'll get a loss still, and your team will be screwed, and it'll be a 5v6, and other people will rage quit and ruin the game. But at the end of the day, even if so, you can't always control a disconnect, so there has to be a system in place to let you reconnect. And right now that is severely flawed, and that's the biggest issue. So that ties into another issue that everyone kind of knows about, which is the way that the points are given on the ladder. So what happens if there's a 5v6 or a disadvantageous game for one side because someone quit or disconnected? The team that wins will be given almost no points, but the team that loses will still be given full points. So this means that if there's a 5v6, which happens a lot because remember, you're playing longer extended series in competitive than you do in quick play. There's more matches, it's like a best of 5 kind of. So that's an issue because whenever there's more games, obviously there's more opportunities for people to disconnect. So you can't always rely on 12 people having perfect computers and internet for 20 minutes, which is how long some of these matches last. So whenever there is a disconnect or an AFK, here's what happens. First of all, it's a complete waste of time. The team with the advantage, like, it's easy and free, but like it's not really fun to play because if you lose, you're a total joke, and you usually win really easily because the man advantage is a big deal. Well, what started happening recently after people completed their placements is as soon as someone disconnects, they've realized that they're probably not coming back because, like I said, the coming back system is flawed, so they just leave. So if one person disconnects, even hypothetically if they were to come back in 20 seconds, sometimes the whole lobby will empty. Or if one person disconnects, another one immediately will, and after that there's no recovering. Because you can win a 5v6, but if it gets worse than that, it's pretty unwinnable. And more importantly, nobody wants to play those games. Those aren't entertaining in any way. Like they're really of no value to anyone. Like you don't really learn very much from a 5v6 game. It's not fun. And more importantly, whenever the game finishes, the ladder result is going to be negative. So even if you win a 5v6, you get an insignificant amount of points, an absurdly low amount of points. And what happens is you get an absurdly low amount of points for your wins, but you really lose a lot of points for every loss. Like, even if you have a man disadvantage, you still lose full points. So anytime there's a disconnect, you should imagine you come out 50-50 on the games. You're going to come out negative point-wise because when you win, you're not really winning anything, and whenever you lose, you're still losing the whole thing. By the way, this is a May gameplay that I had, and this is like the first round. It's a very long round, and it's a good May game, or Mai, whatever. And I just call her the Ice Girl. Anyway, we win this round. It's a very close round, but the next round happens, so we're up 2-0 or whatever. The next round happens, one person on my team disconnects, and we lose the next two and lose full points. And I don't know, like, you can see how I play in this game, and I think if you lose 5v6 and play like this, then you probably don't deserve to lose any points at all. And I think that's one thing that Blizzard should consider changing is if you lose these unfair games that they know, oh, it was a 5v6 or oh, one person disconnected and everyone bailed, then you need to void out the game for the losers, or you need to change the way that leaving works, where, like, I don't even know, maybe you could have one person sit out or rotate in, But you can't continue to do this thing where every time there's a lever, you punish everyone. And there's always levers because the reconnecting system is bad. Really, there's really no point in trying to figure out a solution other than, hey, let's fix the reconnecting system, because that's really only the issue. Because whenever I played quick play, there were not a plethora of people constantly leaving. That's a competitive thing. So I think it's the frustration and stress of competitive a little bit, but it's also the length of the games mixed with the fact that if you do disconnect just once, everyone in the game is fucked. You just can't recover, because, like I've been talking about, the points results are going to be terrible either way, and the game's a complete waste of time. That's probably the most important thing, is if no one can disconnect and you're going to play these no one can reconnect and you play these extended series, they're just going to be miserable. Because I feel like about half of my games are marred one way or the other. Another important thing to worry about that I think Blizzard needs to address is the sudden death. Oftentimes these are idiotic because they just get determined by whatever side you spawn on, because all you have to do is capture the first point, and oftentimes that's absurdly easy. And another thing Blizzard has to worry about is the healers. Basically, if you're not aware, you gain less points if you're a healer, which is like the shittiest thing, because whenever you play healer, you're kind of just playing the bitch role. Like, not many people enjoy playing the healer, and it's harder to carry the game if you're just healing. If you're a really good healer, is valuable, but at the end of the day, like, you only have 5 other teammates, and probably 2 or 3 of them are going to be DPS, and if they're bad, or if the other team's DPS are really good, then the game is almost unwinnable. So it's very odd that those people would be punished, because those are you want to encourage, or at least treat fairly, support players. Because naturally there's going to be more people who want to play DPS. So if you make it where the ladder rewards people who only want to play DPS, nobody's going to want to play healer, and it's going to be miserable. And every single game is going to be a matter of, oh well, how bad do I want to win or have fun? Because if I want to have fun, I'm not going to heal. But if I really want to win, then I'm going to have to heal. Because already a lot of people don't want to heal. So if you make it where you don't gain any ladder points from being healer, then people are really not going to want to heal, and it's going to suck. Levers are getting hit with, and keep in mind, I say levers, the game could just be shitting out, which is what happens. Oftentimes I will disconnect from my game, but stay connected to Discord and everything else, stream that I'm watching. So don't get scared by like this riot kind of talk where you hear levers and think of these like awful players who rage quit and are obnoxious. Remember, levers just means that they left the game. It's not inherently bad. So levers are getting punished with the loss even if they come back instantly. So if you drop and come back,
no, kill him,
then you're screwed and you get a loss anyway, which is terrible.
Like, I feel really strong on Soldier, but like I also feel really,
I would say that if you are going to ladder before they patch it, then you do need to do it in like a stacked 6-man team, because you really eliminate lots of risk for leaving. Although I will say, in my placements, one of my friends had internet issues and we ended up winning. It was a 5v6, but you know, that's the thing. If you can't reconnect, it's just not feasible to expect 12 people to stay connected, and that's the crux of this issue. So I think that competitive will be fun once they fix it. I really enjoy the long format. I hope that's something that they can work around and keep in, because I like the fact that it's a best of 5. You get to see people play multiple characters. You get to see kind of the repertoire strategically as well. You get to see people stylistically, what routes they do. Whereas quick play games, often they're just different people, or the teams are mixing a lot. So it's just kind of random. I think any time in a game where it can be more skill based, that is to say that there's more habits that you can study from your opponent, that's a good thing. So I hope that the solution to this isn't, oh, we'll just make the game shorter and we're not going to fix the disconnecting. I really hope that's not the solution. One thing that I will say as a StarCraft 2
That is like
player
really, really bad on the
is that
second
Blizzard
one.
was not proactive at all about fixing the StarCraft 2 ladder.
Hold on, I gotta get
StarCraft 2 still doesn't have visible MMR or race to visible by MMR. You know, there were many problems with the ladder that were generally agreed upon that needed to be fixed that took very long time to be fixed. There's lots of examples like the neutral supply depots at the bottom of ramps or close positions on maps. So I hope that Blizzard does not drag their feet like they did in StarCraft 2, because a lot of what a lot of what an esport is how it develops early, and if the competitive ladder is garbage, then that's not going to be good for the development of the game. If you enjoyed this, subscribe for more.